start a new year in your life today, and we hope that it's gonna be a good one, full of happiness, joy, and laughter too. Happy birthday to you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Ted Jones World Podcast. Dad, thanks for the lovely message, my man. Yes, today is my birthday. 30. The thing is, I did not really, think about it or feel it too much until I saw it in text and like on paper and such, It is different from seeing 29 there, but 30 years old, guys, and I feel like 30's got to be at least the new 28 with the life expectancy going up by, I don't know, what is it? A year and a half in the past 50 years. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Ted Jones World Podcast. You guys are listening to this on Monday. Tonight we have the Ted Jones Comedy Show. Would love to see you there. 116 East 16th Street at the Stand, New York Comedy Club and Restaurant. But that show is going to be a banger. Check the link in this YouTube video or my Instagram, Ted Jones World, or go to thestandnyc.com. You'll see my show flyer there, the Ted Jones Comedy Show. That is tonight. Can't wait to see you guys, 7 p.m. Come have dinner and drinks. Get to that show. It's going to be fantastic. So how do I feel overall-ly? As they would say, or as you guys would say. I've been told that I say use guys is too much, but that's a joke, and I hope you guys would have understood that by now. But I think occasionally I do need to say you guys instead of use guys is, so people know that I do, in fact, know how to speak English. It doesn't feel so much different than yesterday, and I think, like, in my own head, the fact that I don't feel that old, and I don't think that maybe, turning 30 is that big of a deal. I think it's different from like when our parents were 30 years old, right? Like if you think about when your parent had you, I don't know how old you are listening to this, whatever, but 30 years old, you feel like people would be getting married, having kids. But I think like the time frame kind of has shifted. Like a lot more new things are happening now that we're 30 years old as opposed to our parents' generation, right? Like technology, Web 3.0 coming out. Life expectancy, I think, in terms of like health and people just living longer, I think is happening. So obviously great for that. Cryogenic freezing is a hot topic these days. I mean, not really that much. Ted Williams, though, do you guys remember him, the baseball player? He is cryogenically frozen. And I believe Walt Disney. And I think their hopes are like, if, you could be put back to life with somebody shooting, I don't know, some juice in your spine or whatever. And people also like becoming unparaplegic. You shoot some stem cells into people and then maybe their legs and arms work, but I don't know. That's crazy. But I've always thought like, why can a bone heal after you break it? It takes 6 weeks. Like, why can't you grow back an arm or a limb? Is that like a really weird thing to think? I mean, I've thought about it. Like if your arm, gets cut off or something, God forbid, why doesn't your limb regrow? Or like, why can't your vision get better? Your hearing get better? Any of your senses really get better? Like I think that on top of AI, I think that that's also what we're moving towards. Autonomous cars. I was actually speaking with my dad the other day. He was like, what do you think about taxi medallions? And I said, I think taxi medallions are for the birds. You remember there was a big surge back in New York City, if you're familiar with New York City, and like transportation and stuff. Back in 2010, there were an extremely high peak. Like taxi medallions were going, some of them close to $1 million. And then just a few years later, Uber came out, and then all these taxi drivers who bought medallions for $1 million couldn't afford the payment on it anymore, just because like the demand for Ubers is so much bigger than the demand for taxis. And I think as time goes on, we're going to see less restaurants, like in actual house restaurants. We're going to see more ghost kitchens. That's already happening. A ghost kitchen in that you can really only order it online. Maybe they'll have a couple tables in the restaurant, but I think the days of renting out a 5,000 square foot restaurant is slowly approaching us. Like the days where we could have a 5,000 square foot restaurant. I mean, unless it's a really hot restaurant and it's already like a built up brand, I think maybe then you'll see a 5,000 square foot restaurant, something like a Catch or maybe like a Sarah Beth's, restaurants that do very well in the city. Or like even in Miami, like Miami, a lot more people are going out to restaurants. It's nice year round. But like in the winter in New York, if you guys think about it, how many times do you bail on plans? Because like it's freaking dark out or it's cold. I think that as a people, we want things pretty quick. Like we want things right away on our phone, just click and then boom, there it is. You want to swipe right for a date, swipe left for no date, right? On the dating apps. So I think that we are in a sense becoming a little bit lazier, maybe as a society, but we're also becoming smarter and we know what is good and what is bad, right? Like 50 years ago, we weren't so sure that cigarettes were going to kill you. We weren't so sure that eating McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's every single day is going to kill you. Those two things we're sure about. We're more educated on health and wellness. So I think people are probably working out more so that today than they were 50 years ago, right? But also with these fast food places coming into play, it becomes tougher to maintain your health with all these distractions. So you just got to be aware that like, oh yes, fruits and veggies are good. And it's so funny. Like I remember growing up, my grandparents and people around me, whatever, anyone who was raising me would like make me drink a full glass of whole milk with dinner. And if you just think about that now, how wrong that is to like grow somebody's bones strong or like grow a kid's bones. I don't know, but a lot of people are lactose intolerant. If you're watching this and you're lactose intolerant, it's because you're not supposed to eat cheese, milk, whatever. You're supposed to have cashew cheese or vegan cheese, whatever that may be. But like 2.5 years now of me being vegan. If you guys didn't know I'm vegan, you've never listened to a podcast or a vlog, but yes, just trying to take care of myself, the environment, whatever that is. And by not eating meat, I'm reducing my carbon footprint quite a lot. I even feel that like I can have straws, plastic straws in the coffee that I'm drinking because like I'm not eating fish. Like I'm not so worried about a plastic straw killing a turtle or a fish when I'm not even eating the fish. I think it's better to not eat fish rather than not use straws. Right? So I give myself that liberty, whatever that is. But yes, guys, today I am 30, November 13th. I've had quite a few birthdays on Friday, November 13th, today not being one of them. Today is Saturday, but go ahead, wish your boy a happy birthday, Ted Jones World at gmail.com. And I can't wait to see you guys at a Ted Jones comedy show. If you can't make the show tonight, November 15th at 7 p.m., we have a show 2 weeks from today, Monday, November 29th, 7 p.m., and that lineup is roaring, ready to go. I'm going down to Miami on December 14th, hopefully doing a show down there. Nothing locked in, but I definitely do have prospects. That'll be super fun. We'll see if we're going to get a Ted Jones comedy show in the beginning of December before I head down there, but looking forward to Miami, and that'll be great. Obviously, yes, I'll bring the vlog cam, and we'll see what adventures we end up going on, guys. If you are watching on YouTube, you'll notice my hair looks different. Huh? I had a vlog posted the other day about, me shaving my head, and here it is. The hat feels looser. It's fitting looser. My head looks smaller, but I feel like my traps are bigger. And also, this is quite the small shirt that I'm wearing here. This is a large. I'm busted out of it. But, the Ted Jones World t-shirts that we have are very nice and soft. Guys, we just ordered new Ted Jones Comedy Show t-shirts. Those just came in the mail, and tonight we will be throwing out a couple. If you guys would like to purchase a Ted Jones Comedy Show, you just DM me at Ted Jones World on Instagram or tedjonesworld at gmail.com, and for a small fee, we'll get that delivered to you, because I always love to see everyone supporting the Ted Jones World brand. I've talked about this previously on the podcast, but after nearly 14 years, Britney Spears' conservatorship, I can never fucking read this word, conservatorship ends. That's great. Obviously, all the cries for Free Britney have come to light. It's crazy, like 10 years ago, you guys remember this meme or this video, this guy being like, "Free Britney, leave Britney alone." He was like under a sheet, and like that became the big meme of 10 years ago. But she really did need to be freed, and I'm happy that Britney Spears is back to living her everyday life. Britney, if you want to come on the Ted Jones World Couch, you are more than welcome. We'd love to have an interview with you. It doesn't even have to be an interview. It's just a podcast. It's talking. It's chopping it up. I've talked to you guys before last week about getting a guest on the couch, and, we do love just doing it. Just me here. I hope you guys love listening. Let me know what you think at tedjonesworld at gmail.com. We do have a guest coming on next week, special surprise guest, just recorded his hour special at the Comedy Cellar. I actually watched a good amount of it on YouTube, so that was super funny, but it's a little bit of a surprise, and it's not one of my bros that I've had previously here on the couch, so that'll be exciting. And end of the year tour finals coming up in tennis. If you guys didn't know, I am an avid tennis watcher. I was on the tennis team for 2.5 years before we decided to part ways, the tennis team and myself. Was it due fully to weed? No, it wasn't due fully to weed. You know, I did enjoy smoking pot, and I did one time fail a drug test. Rather, scratch that. 2 times failed the drug test, but then by the 3rd time that they wanted to, put a drug test in my pee or use my pee for a drug test, I was just like, look, this isn't worth it for me. And I just wanted to pursue other things. That may sound like a cop-out, but I was able to take many a more drama classes, film classes, because those particular classes were times during practice. And during the time I wasn't on the tennis team, I wrote an 118-page movie script about Ryan Leaf. For those of you who don't know Ryan Leaf, he was picked 2nd overall behind Peyton Manning in the 1998 NFL draft to the San Diego Chargers. So he was thought to be like indifferent. It was either going to be Ryan Leaf or Peyton Manning picked 1st overall. So it's just crazy to see how these guys, how their careers kind of just ended up in completely different places. So if you guys want to read this script that I wrote, 118 pages. That took me like 2.5 years to write. And now I'm just in the middle of, adding things, taking away things, trying to like bring it down to, like whatever it is, like an hour and 40 type of minute movie, if that may be. But I don't know. I hope that something in the future comes of it. I would love to play Ryan Leaf. I'm a good athlete. I can throw the football. But that was something that I just did in my spare time instead of playing on the tennis team. Was that more fulfilling than being on the tennis team at the time? I believe yes, and looking back on it, I think so, yes too. There's a lot to be said when you're playing a Division I sport. I played UConn tennis, which we happened to be D1, but like we were by no means like at the top half of like D1. And the thing is with tennis, only the top 25 schools really even care about their tennis teams. It's very hard to put a number of scholarships that is just dedicated to the tennis team because of Title IX back in the 80s when they decided that women and men needed to have equal scholarships, which I'm all for. I think that that's a great rule. But in having equal amount of scholarships at each university, a lot of scholarships were just given to the football team and basketball team, men's wise. So at the University of Connecticut, we didn't have any scholarships on the team. So, it made the experience a little less competitive just because like we weren't playing the greatest schools in Division I. And like if we were to play one of those teams, like we would get killed. Like a Louisville, I remember we played my freshman year in college, we played Louisville and they were like a top 25 team. So they crushed us. It's like, it's different from a basketball or football. Well, I think basketball, you can have a close matchup with somebody who's top 25. Like for example, in the March Madness tournament, you'll see like a 16 seed take out the 1 seed, something like that. But in tennis, it's a lot more structured. Like upsets are way less likely to happen because you have to win 4 out of the 7 matches that are playing. You have to win 4-3. And each of the singles players have to win. Then you have to win the doubles point. So it's a lot more unlikely for like the number 1 player at UConn to beat the number 1 player at Louisville, and then the number 2 at UConn win, and number 3 at UConn win, and then you have to win the doubles point. So a lot different in tennis, but I think just playing for 2.5 years or 2 years and a quarter, it was enough for me. Like the experience was enough. And I played tennis so much in high school and growing up, just from like the ages of 14 to 17, I played so much tennis. It was crazy. I mean, I went to high school specifically to play tennis. Professional children's school. If you guys don't know that, you look that shit up. 60th between Columbus and Amsterdam. It was like actors, singers, dancers, models, some athletes. But like in going there, I don't even know what I was fully doing there. I was not going to be like a tennis pro. We did have a girl who came to professional children's school, Christy On, who was on the podcast, episode 15, who made the round of 16 at the U.S. Open. Like, I was not about to be making the round of 16 at the U.S. Open, So definitely had a interesting high school experience in terms of playing tennis a lot. I was playing tennis at least 5 or 6 days a week. And then once I got to college, I kind of want to experience college a little bit more. Like I didn't want to not smoke weed and be on the tennis team. And the funny thing is, like there were kids on the team that were blacking out from alcohol. Coach put in like a 48-hour rule. Nobody was allowed to drink 48 hours before a match. Which I understood. But there were kids on the tennis team, on the men's and women's team, that were blacking out 48 hours before the match. Talking about like having whatever it is, 15 drinks, vodka to the brim of those solo cups. But like that was all good. It was just like, if God forbid you smoked a joint on a Tuesday before a match that you had a week and a half later. Just so funny. I mean, I guess since the war on drugs and Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan did that whole spiel making like marijuana evil and shit, people have not mind alcohol. I think it's becoming more apparent now that weed is becoming legal state to state here and there, that weed is really not bad. It's not bad for you. I mean, alcohol is way worse for you than weed. And I think it's crazy how long it's taken us to come to a point where like you listening could agree to what I'm saying here. Like alcohol is way more dangerous than weed. Yet alcohol is way more socially acceptable than weed. Like tonight being my birthday, am I going to be peer pressured to drink? Sure. Am I going to drink? I don't even know. I don't know, but I ultimately do know that if I do choose to drink tomorrow, aka Sunday, but for you guys, I guess it'll be Tuesday, but as I'm recording this and being transparent, it's Saturday. Like I don't want to be so hungover, and I know that I'm probably going to feel that way if I end up drinking, right? If I end up smoking, this is my personal preference, then like I won't end up being hungover. But I do find that like if I'm around a lot of people who are drinking and I'm not drinking, I wake up the next morning kind of groggy. It's weird. Maybe I just got like a drinking vibe, a hungover vibe. It's been a minute since I drank last. I mean, not a minute. When did I drink last? Halloween was the last time I drank. So like, and that's usually how I've been doing it. Like every 2 weeks I'll drink. And the thing is, when I do drink, I mean, I'm having anywhere from like 4 to, I mean, you guys decide the limit on that. 4 to probably 8 drinks, something like that. So it's in moderation. I'm not doing it every day, but like every 2 weeks, something like that. So we'll see. I guess I'm due to drink tonight, but who knows? We'll see if I end up drinking. Do you guys like this shirt that I'm wearing? It's very tight. Tight around the buys, which is good. That means I'm freaking blasting them, So this is a listener DM, not a listener email. This is on my Buzzcut post. Somebody says, the result? Bro, go to my YouTube page, Ted Jones World YouTube channel. Then you can find the result. For those of you who don't know, my YouTube link is in my Instagram bio. And if you guys want to go to YouTube directly, it's Ted Jones World. Can't be more script than that. But for those of you who don't know or are tuning in for maybe the first or second time, Ted Jones World podcast episodes we release every Monday and Thursday, 12 a.m. And the Ted Jones vlog we release Tuesdays and Fridays, so putting up at least 4 episodes for you guys a week at the current time. And, I'm always looking for suggestions or things that you guys want to see. In particular, I know I've gotten some requests to skydive, take the helicopter around Manhattan. So these are things that are slightly expensive, but as it's becoming colder and colder, I mean, it's probably something I should do, right? Go skydive. I don't think I would ever skydive. I'm just being real with you guys. Too scary for me. Have you ever skydived? Like going in one of those helicopters around the city is a little spooky, but that could be fun. I guess. Yeah, and like New York City or Manhattan is definitely the place to like go around in a helicopter. But the thing is, I'm flying down to Miami in a month as of now, and like, I mean, when I fly down there, I'm gonna see the buildings as I leave, right? Or at least when I'm coming back a week later. If you guys are in Miami, December 14th through 20th, you let me know. Love to chill. Potentially. I don't know. Would potentially love to chill. I should say that. But gorgeous day out here today, guys. About 63 degrees. Wonderful birthday I'm having. 30 years old. 30. Back in the day, I'd say probably like 10 years ago, people would give me way more shit. Why aren't you married? When you going to have a kid? My timeline now, who knows? Obviously, who knows? But, I mean, I wouldn't shy away from pushing all that stuff back, another 5 years at least before I even think about it. I know 35-year-olds who are single, chilling, living alone, Do I see myself in that light in 5 years? I don't know. We'll have to quote back here, episode 186. Is Ted Jones still single, living alone at the age of 35? But guys, I'm happy, more so over everything. I think that's the most important thing. And I think that's important for you guys too, to really feel happy every day. Whether you do something for like an hour, 30 minutes that really makes you happy each day, I think that's really important for you. Away from your partner, like you got to make that happiness creation on your own. Make sure that you're happy first, and then that person, your significant other, will make you happier, I think that that's ultimately something that you got to find in a partner. I mean, look at me, I'm single now, so what do I know? But I think that like in the past, sometimes I've catered to the other person too much, and you really have to cater to yourself. Otherwise, you're going to go loco, trying to make another person happy or rely on somebody else for your happiness. That's true. Getting real deep here, guys, just because that's what's on my mind. And don't you want to hear what's on my mind? Didn't shave today for the podcast. I don't really always usually shave every day, just like when I take a shower, which happens to be almost every day. But if I don't work out, I usually don't take a shower. So going to the gym helps me shower. Showering helps me go to the gym. As long as I'm taking 5-6 a week, no problem. No problem. And this hair now, it's easier to deal with. Like I don't feel like I'm wearing a hat. There are 2 hats actually, rather, when I'm sweating at the gym through the mullet. Episode 186 here, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Send in your emails, tedjonesworld@gmail.com. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. You watching this on YouTube, subscribe to Ted Jones World. I cannot wait for the Ted Jones Comedy Show tonight. Hope to see each and every single one of you guys is there, as I say. And if you guys cannot make this comedy show, you're not in the greater tri-state area, hopefully you'll be in the greater tri-state area within the next 2 weeks to come to that Ted Jones Comedy Show on November 29th. And hopefully within the next few weeks, guys, we will start streaming these Ted Jones Comedy Shows live on the internet. Because I think, as I've said, that is the new wave. Just watching comedy shows on the comfort of your own couch. It's like the it's like the Uber of the taxi service, of the comedy show service. You know what I mean? Like, people don't want to buy taxi medallions anymore. People want to have the comfort from their own home. Watch a comedy show 8 p.m. on a cold, wintry mix night. Something like that. I think Novak Djokovic, by the way, is going to win the year-end finals. I said Novak Djokovic was going to win the U.S. Open, but boy, was I wrong. So, end of the year finals coming up this week. Should be exciting. If you guys have the tennis channel, which I don't, it's an extra $14.99 a month, so they got to chop that price before I, get in the mix there. But, love tennis, love everything, love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the Ted Jones World podcast and your consistent support here of the Ted Jones World brand. And if you guys want Ted Jones comedy shirt, you message me on the side. We'll figure out a deal for you. All right. Thanks for tuning in to 86 plus 100. Peace.